how you doing? Dave Moore here. Just wanted to make a video on stippling for the Glock. I was going through some of my old videos and I don't think they're that great. Number one, the video quality kind of sucks. Number two, I just kind of stand there and talk like I was kind of sad. So I figured I would go ahead and just make a new video since now I have a better camera and I have gained a little bit of personality, I guess. So as usual, I'm just going to dive right into it. Basically, I'm going to cover stippling, the equipment that I used, how I did it, but I'm not going to give you a tutorial on doing it. I'm just going to explain some things that I did and some things that I learned whilst doing it. First, I want to show off a few things. Number one, this hat. How cool is that? 1776 United. I got these two snapback hats because they're pretty awesome. Right here on the brim, you've got good old America. America, America. And this one here that I've got on my tiny head is the Don't Tread on Me, the Gadsden flag. So I just really like these hats. I have a tiny head, so the hat kind of looks big, but I don't even care because they're badass hats. So shout out to 1776 United. I will be meeting them at the NRA annual meeting next month, and I'm pretty excited for it. And if you're going, he is going to have some special t-shirts. So make sure you're there, make sure you join the NRA. Stippling. Basically, you all know what it is. It's these little bumps. The Glock herpes, if you will. And it just gives you grip. Gives you a rougher texture, like sandpaper, and it helps to wick moisture away from your skin. So, as you imagine, if this gun is wet, blood, sweat, piss, whatever, the fluid is going to settle into the dimples, keeping it away from your hands, kind of like the treads that are on tires. So, just awesome. Hands down, the best thing that I've ever done for this Glock was stippling it. I was scared to do it. I'll start there. Scared to do it, so I was doing some research on some companies that do it because I was being a little bitch, so I figured I would send it out. Well, a few places caught my eye. Well, three places. Damon Young from SSVI, Works Armament, and Boresight Solutions. Works Armament and SSVI and Boresight Solutions, like their outline is perfect, stippling's perfect. Damon Young at SSVI does some phenomenal work. I mean, it just looks like he does designs and it just looks amazing. But the main one that I was kind of drawn to was Works Armament, so I went back and forth emailing him, getting details, getting pricing, getting lead times, and I decided that number one, I'm poor, so I'm not sure if I can really justify spending the money to get it done. And two, there was like a few months of a waiting period, and then once he had the gun, it was going to be a few weeks for him to get it done. Now, I'm not downing him. Basically what that means is he's busy. Everybody wants his work, and after doing this, I now understand the pricing and I understand the lead times. So I'm just going to pretty much explain all of that. But check out Works Armament, Instagram at Works Armament, Damon Young, SSVI at SSVI, something like that. I don't think that's his actual name. Then you got Boresight Solutions. So all those guys, amazing work. Definitely worth the price, definitely worth the wait if you don't want to do it yourself. So I stippled it, and like I said, it is probably the best thing that I've done for this Glock because it's just phenomenal. I also undercut the trigger guard here and here. I stippled the bottom of the trigger guard there. This undercut right here is now a must, especially me being left-handed, because it gives you that higher grip, and it would be perfect on a compact or subcompact Glock. This undercut here, like I said in the video before, is for my support hand, and the stippling there is to keep my hand from sliding forward. So all of my polymer frame guns, any in the future that I get, will have the stipple job and the undercut job done to it. So definitely worth doing it. So I did research, and I was scared to do it, obviously, because you're modifying your gun and you can potentially ruin it. Well, looking up information, looking up what people did, I finally said, fuck it, I'm doing it. So I went to the Home Depot and I purchased a Dremel. The Dremel that I purchased is this one here, is the Dremel 200. Basic ass bitch right there. Dremel 200 at the Home Depot was $50. So not bad. Obviously the Dremel can be used for multiple purposes other than gun work. You use it to grind down stuff, you can use it to scare your cat, you can use it for multiple things. So got that. So now I've got part one. Next I went to the Hobby Lobby, the lobby of all the hobbies, and I purchased a wood burning kit. The little kit that I purchased is this guy. I believe it had like a red cardboard around it. This is a red device there, and it comes in this plastic case. Now this was, I want to say, 30 bucks, but remember, you go to Hobby Lobby, they have coupons, so get online, click their coupon or their coupon code thing, and it'll give you a coupon code. So I got this and some spare tips for $25, and I saved 40% off with that coupon. So make sure that you use a coupon. Just get on your phone and get the code. It's right on the page there. So nailed it with that one. Now I did have to buy a separate container, a separate kit of the tips, because the ones that it came with I did not like. So I wanted to use, see if I even have it in here. Something's telling me I don't. Oh yeah, it's right, it's on the thing. So I'll show you. That is the tip that I used. Is it focusing? I don't know, but you got the concept. It's very skinny and it's hooked. So it's got that hook, and what that hook does is it the hook makes it easier on your wrist, really, because instead of having to hold it up like an idiot, you just hold it and poke. So let me put that down. So you want that hooked one, and I wanted a very, very fine tip. So now I have all of the accoutrements to do this. Now my balls are starting to grow. I'm starting to get a little more confident. So I said, fuck it, I'm just going to do it. So what I did was I took in the Dremel, it comes with these like cardboard, red, circular grinding things. And it's like rough sandpaper, and you slide them on top of this other thing. Very technical, I know. So you slide it on there, you lock it down in the Dremel, and it's basically a sanding wheel, like sandpaper on a wheel, not a grinding wheel. Then what I did was I just removed the texture, basically took off the top layer. Those little bumps that come on the standard Gen 4, took those off. The backstrap grooves, took those off, and the Glock logo, took that off, because I didn't want to deal with stippling around the Glock logo. So just smoothed off all of the texture that was standard on the gun. But I stopped at the very bottom where this magwell is, so that the magwell would fit and it still had the original finish on it. Because if you stipple underneath this magwell, the magwell won't fit. So if you have a magwell, stipple around it. So I grinded off all the texture, and then I decided, I'm going to undercut the trigger guard, because all the cool guys are doing that. So this is where a disclaimer comes in. Take the Dremel, same sanding wheel, and just turn it upside down, and the wheel is perfect size. It just fits right in there. So you fit it there, and I turned it on. So it's spinning and spinning, taking off a little polymer. Now, when you grind off the texture on your Glock, there's two settings on a Dremel, low and high. You should never touch high, unless you are like a Dremel expert, which obviously I'm an amateur. The high setting will cut through that polymer so fast that you will have cut that frame in half before you would even know it. So it spins fast as shit. So keep it on low and just take more time. It's going to get frustrating, but just put it on low. If you put it on high, you're going to fuck it up, I guarantee it. especially if you are doing this for the first time, you're going to fuck your gun up and then you're going to say, God damn Dave, you said not to do it and I did it and I'm an idiot, I hate myself, fucking kill me now. So to avoid all of that, just use low, okay? Because you're not trying to cut the fucking gun in half, you're trying to just remove a layer. So low, got it low. So you put it on low and you start to, you know, starts cutting it. Now, you don't want to go too thin here because it's going to thin this out, so you don't want it too thin. Just do it enough to where there's a good divot in it, you know. See that divot? So you got that. Now the part that I almost fucked up was when I undercut for my support hand here. It's almost too thin. I almost fucked it up, and I just took, you know, the Dremel, held it, and just put the Dremel on it, and just kind of kept it in the same place. That way, you know, it didn't cut and saw all the way through it. And then I stopped almost too late. So, moral of the story is use it on low and pay the fuck attention to what you're doing. Then after I undercut the trigger guard in those two spots, actually just recently did this. I took some 1200 grit sandpaper or some 600 grit. I used 1200. Dipped it in water and then wet sanded it, made it real smooth. Matter of fact, it almost made it too smooth. It's a little more slick now. So that was kind of my whole starting process. So now I've got the texture removed and I've got the undercuts done, and my asshole is really tight now because I almost fucked it up. So now I'm thinking, well, great. I'm on my way to failure already. Way to go, Dave. Okay, so what I did then is I put the wood, the tip on the wood burning kit. I turned that fucker on hot, and I started to stipple. Now, before I did the gun, I practiced on some AR grips. I practiced on some P mags and some polymer mags I didn't really give a fuck about, and I kind of tested it out. Well, the AR grip came out. It was really, really sharp, really grippy, and it made, you know, nice holes. Once I started to, now that's going to give you good practice on the whole concept of it. This, if you can do this for 4.5 hours, you can stipple. So that gave me the concept, gave me a little practice, given that I had not stippled anything until I did the half an AR mag and an inch of a polymer mag, and now I'm doing my gun. So that gave me a feel for it. It came out decent, so I'm like, all right, I can do this. So I started doing my gun, and I'm noticing that it's not giving me the same texture, it's not giving me the same holes that AR grip did. So I'm thinking, fuck, but now what's wrong? On this, on the Glock, what it was doing was it was making more of like a rounded bump. It wasn't as sharp, and the holes weren't as big. So I'm thinking, I don't know about this. I said, I already started it, so I'm doing it. So I kept doing it, and what I did to save myself the mental and emotional anguish was I would do like a portion. I did the outline with pencil, and then I kind of started tracing it. And I would do like a segment here, and then I would move up somewhere here, do a segment after the whole outline was done. Then I would do it in splotches, polka dots, if you will. That way, I was kind of breaking it up in my head a little bit. It's kind of like whenever you're doing reps at the gym. Instead of counting to 30, you might count to 10 3 times, and that way you kind of feel some accomplishment. Once you hit 10, then you start up, then you hit 10 again. Does that make sense? Probably not, but you get the gist. So I was doing little portions, and then I was eventually connecting those portions together, which was then making me feel better about myself. Now, I just did that for 4.5 hours. It's going to take you a long time. So now I understand why stippling costs what it does, and I understand why there's lead times. Because you want it done, you're going to have to wait. That's just the way it is. This took me 4.5 hours from start to finish, basically. So I mean, that's a lot of time. I did it all in one day, and I was hurting when I was done. So ultimately, I did the grip, did everything. I kept these finger grooves because I like them. You people that don't like them, I don't get it. I love them. So kept the finger grooves, as you can see. And then I started stippling along the frame here. Well, I didn't mean to do that much, but it kind of happened, so I said, fuck it, it's already done. I just filled it in, and it ended up to where having that whole part of the frame where your finger and your thumb is, I like having the whole thing done because it gives my hand and it gives the pad of my thumb and my finger and the pad of my finger a nice resting point and a nice grip, so it's not going to slide out of your hand like that. So I pretty much just did the whole frame, not on purpose, but I'm glad I did it. Now meanwhile, while I'm doing this whole gun and I'm doing these little portions of it, and I'm looking at it and I'm feeling it and I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, I just fucked this up. This is not what I wanted it to be. This is not how I expected it to come out. What did I do? Ermagerd. Well, you're going to feel that because you think you just fucked it up. Then once it was done, then I felt it and looked at it. Then I got all the compliments from photos and I shot with it and I'm thinking, this came out fucking perfectly. And I was scared at first, but it worked out. So you're going to be scared at first, but then in the end, it's going to be great. You're going to like it. And the texture, the bumps that I thought were going to be a little too rounded are perfect. If it was any sharper, it would hurt. So just moral of the story is pay attention, Dremel on low, and just take your time. Don't grind anything too deep because you're going to fuck it up. And when you stipple, it kind of bubbles that polymer up, so it kind of gives you like a honeycomb kind of feel. By what I mean by that is it kind of makes it more porous. There you go. So if you grind off too much and you stipple it too deep, it's going to make the base of that polymer too thin. And then you're going to, it will squeeze in on you and it won't hold its rigidity properly, if that makes any sense at all. So just pay attention and don't grind off too much. Just get what you want removed. Stop, feel, take some more. Make sure that whenever you undercut here and here, that when you push on it, it doesn't flex a whole lot. Because if it flexes a whole lot, it's going to be too thin. And then if you squeeze the gun and you have that finger jammed up in there, it might push the trigger guard into the trigger and impede the trigger pull. So I warned you guys. It's up to you to take heed of that warning. Ultimately, when you're stippling it, you want to have that on hot. Make sure it's really hot, which it will be. Don't touch the hot tip, clearly. And you're basically just kind of laying it on there and letting it burn through. Don't really push real hard, because you go straight through into that mag well area, then your magazines aren't going to go in there. So just let it, just sit it on there, little bit of force, maybe like an inch-pound, and just let it kind of burn through until you get a nice dimple, and then move on to the next. Then what I did was I did it in a pattern like this, kind of. Can you see it? Okay. I would do basically like the 5-side on dice. I would do 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1 in the middle. And then I would keep doing that, and that makes it fill in a nice staggered pattern. If you just do straight lines, when it's done, it's going to look like shit. It's going to look too planned out, and it's going to look terrible. So you want to make sure that you're staggering it. So like 4 dots, then 1 in the middle. The 1 in the middle will connect the 4 dots, and then so you got those 4 dots, and then you do 1 here, 1 there, and then 1 there, then 1 in the middle, and just kind of keep doing that. So make it like a bee's hive kind of look, and that will give you a nice staggered, unplanned pattern, and it will look great. So ultimately, go to Works Armament and check out his work. One thing I did try to do is I did try to get like a nice edge, and this side actually came out better. The edge there. What I did with that was I had an idea of what I wanted to do. I originally tried the razor knife attachment, so it heats up a razor knife, but when I was cutting through it, it didn't make it deep enough, so I gave up. And what I did was I just took a metal ruler and held it on there straight, and I took that burning tip and just kind of drug it across. Now that is not the recommended way to do it, but it kind of worked out. But if you look at Works Armament, what they do, I believe, is they take the Dremel and they actually grind out that edge that they want. So the edge that would be kind of like a long here, and like a round in there, and then around here and back into here. I believe it's actually ground out and recessed, so when they stipple it, it makes a nice flat edge. So just go to their page and look at it, and you can kind of see what I'm talking about. But that's really it in a nutshell. Like I said, I'm not going to show you how I did it because I just explained it, and it's up to you just to not fuck it up. So kind of take heed to my warnings and what I almost did, and just kind of keep that in the back of your head when you're doing it, because then you won't screw it up. Just take your time, drum along low, and if you get tired and get cross-eyed, take a break. Stop for a half hour. Go jack off. Go do whatever you need to do. But just kind of take a break and then get back into it. If it's too much for you, do it over a few days. I mean, if your gun is half done, you still carry it. It's not gonna hurt anything. So just take your time and make sure you don't screw it up. And just heed all my warnings, and you'll be fine. And then you will be just as happy as I am with my grip job and all the improvements, because it is definitely worth it, even if you send it out to have it done. So it's worth doing, and try it out for yourself, and hopefully you don't fuck it up. So that's really it. I'm going to end this here. I just wanted to make this video to kind of clarify my first video that I made, where it sucks. My earlier videos aren't that great, so I figured I would just make a new one because I'm bored and I have no friends. So that's all I got. So stipple, try it out, let me know what you think. Have any ideas for a video, let me know. Put it down here in the cock box, and I will try to make them, given that I have the proper accoutrements to do so. So keep shooting, guys.